Hello, welcome to Lessons Learned. I'm Sherry. Today I'm going to be making Mark's Canyon Hideout pattern. This is his first pattern from his channel over at Quilters Architect by the company Ruler's Edge Design. That's our pattern company, and I'm just going to do a feminine version of this quilt. He is in the process of putting out the videos on this in this colorway, and so I'm going to do the cutting today. I've already got my fabric selected, and I'm going to talk to you about that. And then Thursday his final video comes out, the tutorial video for how to make this quilt. And then on Friday we should be able to share our quilts on Finish It Friday. So I probably won't have mine quilted up just yet, but I will have my top finished, and you will see his completed quilt, and you'll see the difference between doing it his way and my way. So I had to make a little bit of adjustment because of a little bit of a fabric shortage that I had. I wanted to use this line. It's from Art Gallery Fabrics. It's from Sharon, Holland. It's called Shine On. Some of you may have this in your stashes. It's from a couple years ago, probably. Maybe a little bit. I want to say 2023, but it didn't have a date on it, so I'm not real sure. But instead of using the normal 4 fabrics that he has listed here, which if you're watching his videos, they are done up in Stonehenge gradients, surfaces, different ones, but we need approximately 4 yards and a little bit more. So I swapped out one of the colors. So in one of the colors I'm using 2 fabrics, and I'll talk about that. First of all though, I'm going to go lighter on my borders, which is this one right here. And then I'm going for the large green HSTs that would have normally been this that we have in here, inside here. I'm using this brighter, bolder gold here. And then for our darker borders and darker half square triangle side and the 4 patches, the one side of the 4 patches, I'm using this dark. And then for the lighter areas here, I'm using this, which is more of kind of a, almost more like a blender type. And I'm hoping this will, you know, with the smaller pieces, that it will kind of all blend in as a kind of a background fabric. And then this one here will be the other side of my 4 patch. So this one and this one will be my 2 darker 4 patch colors. This one will be around the 4 patches, and then so on, as I mentioned, for the borders and the bigger, brighter ones here. There's not too many that I will use for this, so I think it will make it kind of pop out a little more. It's going to look totally different than this. So we'll manage to keep the design pretty much, but there again, it's just going to give it a little bit different look, kind of reversing some of those darks and lights. If you want to adapt your fabric to this pattern, you can definitely follow the fabric requirements here, where it talks about dark, medium, light, and medium. You can take your fabric stash and go looking for 2 mediums, a light and a dark, and just do it exactly the way he did it. I just wanted to use a line of fabric. It was a little bit short, so I had to include another piece of the line into it. I also have this piece, which goes with it. It's very directional, so I'm going to stay away from that one. If I need something for the backing, I can incorporate this into the backing. We'll see. It may come into the mix somehow, but right now I'm not planning to use that one. So those are my 6 fabrics that I had in the line. I'm using these 5 for Canyon Hideout. So I'm going to mark them exactly where they go and what they represent according to this pattern, so that I don't get confused. And I'm just going to start cutting now. Okay, everything is cut. A couple things I want to mention. The measurements for the 6 7/8 inch squares, go ahead and round those up to 7 because those are those large HST blocks that we'll be doing here, and they're supposed to measure 6 7/8. It's not a mistake really, it's just that if you want more area to trim your block to an exact 6 7/8 on those, go ahead and cut them up to 7. Also, the strips that you use for the inner border and the outer border, for example, for C, we have 2 strips that we need that are 48.5 by 2.5. So obviously our width of fabric is not that wide, so I went ahead and cut 3 of those so that I could get my 2 pieces that I need. The other 2 pieces in that one were 40.5 by 2.5, so my width of fabric is okay on that. So in total, instead of cutting 4, I cut 5 because I'm going to have to piece that one right there that's 48.5. Same thing down here on another print. This is for the large outer border. We need 2 that are 52.5, and that's more than the width of our fabric, so I went ahead and cut 3. And then I also did the same thing for the 48.5 by 4.5. I cut, I don't think I cut 3, I think I cut 2, counting on maybe I'll have a little extra from my extra strip that I cut for the 52.5. So between those 4, again, I cut 5 strips that are width of fabric by 4.5. So the measurement is correct for the quilt construction, but for the cutting instructions to get those, you really need more than what it says here. But it doesn't change anything with regard to how much fabric you need. As a matter of fact, I'm coming up with quite a bit extra fabric strips left over, not a ton, but also the fact that I'm using another color gives me more fabric that's left over as well. So everything is pretty good with this. I went ahead and took my notes out that I had in my raw fabric pieces, and I started using the A through L pins that I like to use by Taylor Sewell, and I have those marked here on my project board. So now I can go to the sewing machine and start sewing. So I'll move over there and move on to page 3. Okay, I'm starting on page 3, and this figure right here in this box right here tells you how many finished half square triangles you need out of these letter combinations. So just pick up your blocks and follow this to get as many as you need. Next are our 4 patches, and they should all look the same. So you can just do just like the pattern says, put these 2 together, and then put the 2 pairs together to make your 4 patches. They're all the same. I have all of my 4 patches pressed. I pressed mine open. You can do them to one side if you want, but I like the flatness of pressing open. And then also on my half square triangles, I think I mentioned earlier that these are trimmed to 6 7/8. That is not correct. They are trimmed to 6.5 because these are 6.5, so they have to be the same size. So I'm going to get my 6.5 inch square ruler and line up the diagonal right here and trim all of those. And once I get all my blocks trimmed up, I'm ready to put this thing together onto the next step, which would be joining the blocks together and then the rows. So I think we're just gonna lay out this row and do 4 patches, and we can do that in each row and then join our rows together. So this is going together very quickly. Half square triangles are all trimmed up, and I've been playing with the layout. And of course I cannot leave the layout alone. I have to change it up a little bit. All your pieces will work. You can just turn them and twist them any which way you want to on this pattern to come up with some different looks. And this is what I have settled on. The bottom row is on the table. You can't see it, but it's an exact replica mirror image of the very top row. And I'm really liking this. And I'm going to have these, this for the outside border. This will be on the inside border, and then this will be on the outside. And I'm thinking about probably using this as the binding so that it will bring out those squares in the 4 patches, because the same fabric is used on those. So I think it's going to be really cute. It would make a great little girl's quilt, little girl's room, on the wall or on the end of the bed. It'll be like kind of like this. I'm not going to be able to show you very well, but I am not going to sew this completely up in this video. Come back on Friday and you will see my finished top. I'll have it all sewn together, but I'm just thrilled with it so far. And this pattern, Mark's pattern, Canyon Hideout, is just so versatile that, you know, you can just make this your own. So go ahead and go over to his channel. The link is in the description box. There's also a free printable PDF of this pattern. You can print it out, save it for later, or just get going and sew this right along with me today, like I have shown you in the clips. And arrange it like this if you want. If you happen to have this Sharon Holland Art Gallery fabric Shine On line, I think it just turned out really good. So there you go. You need a little bit less than 5 yards of fabric, and you'll have your nice cute quilt. Either a manly version or a feminine version like this one. Alright, thanks for watching, and please support both of our channels if you're able to. I know we're all busy and don't have a whole lot of time to spend on YouTube, but if you like my videos, you'll probably like his videos as well, and we would love to see you over there. So far, we've had great support for the channel and for the views on the videos, and so he is very excited to continue on designing some patterns. I'm testing these patterns out for him, and it's a lot of trial and error behind the scenes that you don't see, but we're really enjoying ourselves, and we love having you watching our videos. Alright, have a great day, and I will see you soon on Finished Art.